Friday evening. You're listening to Cybersecurity Cryptocurrency Podcast. I'm your host, Eric English. Today is Friday, September 7th of 2018. We made it to a Friday. Getting ready for the weekend. This weekend, I have a feeling I already know what I'm going to be doing the majority of the weekend. And that task will be creating more and more and more master nodes. Really starting to dig it, and it pays out sometimes better than mining does. So I actually did get my first payout in Masternode. On my Masternode, I should say. Payout was in Fossil Coin. I got two payouts actually yesterday. So pretty cool. It actually does work. I'm shocked. But I've already got 6 different masternodes up and running. I've got 3 different coins on one server. So you can certainly set up multiple cryptos on the same server, and thus far I haven't had any issues with it. All of this, by the way, is being hosted at AWS as well. Overall, really cool stuff. Really excited about those masternodes and how that's progressing. But masternodes.online if you want to go check those out and see the profitability and ROI calculators and whatnot. The ones that I've created masternodes for so far is coins called Fossil, one called Emeralds, and the last one is called BitMoney. So those are the masternodes that I've created. Each one of those has a different initial buy-in to get to those. The Fossil coin was like $2 because I was just doing that just to start out and see what it was all about. The Emeralds coin is about $30, and BitMoney is also about $30. So not bad to jump into these. BitMoney pays the most over the year. I think it was around $500 in returns in BitMoney. So that's pretty cool. Pretty excited about all this stuff. So haven't seen payouts from these other nodes yet. I've only had payouts from Fossil Coin so far. But the other ones have just barely been up and running for a day or less. So I'll update everybody again once I've gotten other payouts from these other cryptos. So anyway, that's kind of my cryptocurrency update. I don't really have anything else major to talk about there other than I'm digging these masternodes. I'm geeking out on it. I'm going to go set up a whole bunch more. As far as cybersecurity goes, I found out some pretty cool news today that Microsoft has a built-in platform for Office 365. It's called Cloud App Security. Now, initially I was thinking it was just for Office 365 applications and wouldn't be useful for any other applications that are cloud-based. Come to find out, Microsoft is touting this as a full CASB solution, which I thought was rather interesting. I didn't think that it was going to be a CASB solution. It's very inexpensive too. It was like $7 a user, and really the only users that you need are going to be the admins that are going to get into it. You can connect other apps like Dropbox. You can connect Box.com. You can connect your Azure, obviously your Office 365, your SharePoint. They've got connections for AWS and ServiceNow and Salesforce as well. So really, really cool. I had no idea that this was a CASB solution. Now, it's not a full proxied CASB solution like Netscope would be. However, it is still a CASB, and it's extremely cost effective. So for those of you looking for some additional visibility into your cloud-based applications, check out Cloud App Security. That's pretty cool stuff. And especially for $7 a user, that's just kind of a no-brainer. But I've connected I've connected AWS, I've connected Dropbox, and a couple others, just to kind of tinker around with it and see what we can see with it. So I'll update everybody again once I've used that for a few days and see what kind of alerts that we get out of it and what kind of results we get out of it as well. So overall, really, really cool. I had no idea. It was such a pleasant surprise. We got Cloud App Security to do some syslog forwarding for our SIM, And the only way to forward syslogs to this particular SIM was to forward them through Cloud App Security. And so that's why we originally purchased it. And as I was digging around today, I was like, wait a second, I can connect other apps? And sure enough. So the difference between Microsoft's CASB and a Netscope, for example. Netscope is going to give you a lot more granularity and a lot more control. So if you're looking for super hardcore controls for your SaaS applications, Netscope is probably the way to go. If you're looking for just some additional visibility on the apps that your employees are using, then this Microsoft CASB is actually not bad. It connects through APIs to the various SaaS applications and gives you that visibility through APIs. They also have some capability to do blocking and not just alerting through APIs. They can actually do some blocking as well. So I thought that was pretty slick. Very pleasant surprise that we now have a CASB solution at my gig. So I'm really digging that. We're going to forward all those logs as well to our SIM solution. Haven't really set up many alerts in it yet. Haven't really done a whole heck of a lot with it yet, but I have plenty of time to tinker around with it now, knowing that I can connect these other apps. So extremely excited about that. And if you're an Office 365 customer, check out getting Cloud App Security, especially if you're heavily SaaS-based environment. Now, they don't connect to every single SaaS-based platform like a Netscope would, because Netscope is full proxy. And what I mean by that is all of your internet traffic is going to go through a Netscope server first, and that's going to be going through, I believe they set all theirs up at AWS. So it's going to go through a Netscope server first before it does anything else. And that's how Netscope allows you to have that granular control over any and all of your SaaS applications. It doesn't matter what people are using, you can still control it. So definitely cool Netscope is for controlling everything that they're doing. But at least, for some very cost-effective solutions, the Cloud App Security is pretty sweet. Really digging it. But I'll update everybody again once I've tinkered around with this a little bit further. We were using the Elk Stack as our SIM previously, and we've moved away from that. The Elk Stack, I think they're calling it the Elastic Stack now, with stuff like Kibana and others. If you've used it, you understand that it's challenging to use. And the biggest issue with it, with the Elk Stack, is that there's no real pre-configured rules or alerting that you can do. Essentially, you can basically search for alerts and find things, but ideally a SIM is going to alert you on something in real time. So not sure that I'm a big fan of the Elastic Stack because of that experience with it. It was pretty easy to set up, but we certainly had to do some custom programming with APIs and whatnot to get all the logs to forward to it. But either way, it was pretty slick. But just didn't have that alerting capability while we moved away from it. So I'll do some write-ups on that as well once I get finished with that. So in other cybersecurity news, our friends at British Airways got hacked. 380,000 credit cards were leaked during this hack. Just another reason why cybersecurity is so important. Anybody can get hacked at any time. Details of the hack are still a little sketchy thus far, but they did come out and announce today that they were hacked, that 380,000 credit card account details were stolen. So if you've used British Airways recently, highly recommend changing out the credit card that you are using with them, just as a precaution. Also, if you're using your debit card for anything nowadays, it's not a good idea. And the reason being, when your debit card gets compromised, for example, and hackers start using that to make purchases, well, that's coming out of your checking account. So the issue there becomes, once you report it to your bank, the bank has to do their full investigation before they're going to reimburse you. And you could be out, depending on how much you have in your checking account and how much stuff these hackers purchased, you could be out a lot of money before the bank comes back and says, okay, it was fraudulent, we're going to give you your money back. You might be out that money for a week or two. Whereas with credit cards, they have all those protections built in. They have all of the insurance and everything built into those, so that when they do get compromised, it's a matter of when, you got all the protections there. They're going to reimburse and all they do is they just cancel those transactions. And the nice part is it's not taking money out of your checking account. So if you're still using your debit card for anything, highly recommend using a credit card and just paying it off after each purchase or at the end of the day, whatever it is, just pay it off then. That way you're still staying on top of it. You're not racking up a huge balance. But at the same time, you've got the protections that are built in between credit card fraud and breaches like this with British Airways happening. You've got all those protections built in with credit cards versus debit cards where that money's coming straight out of your checking account. So I've always recommended that people use their credit card for everything that you buy, and I do mean everything. I know it sounds crazy, but if you're very responsible with it and you pay it off every day like you should, you're not going to get in a whole lot of trouble. You're not going to rack up a huge credit card bill. If you're not responsible with it, then that could be a little dangerous. Either way, in addition to all the protections that credit cards have built in, they also have rewards of all different types. They have cash back rewards, they have airline mile rewards, they have all kinds of different rewards that you can get just by using that credit card. So it's kind of a no-brainer to use the credit card, especially if you get even like 1% back every month on all the purchases you've made that month. I mean, that's like free money, essentially. And if you pay it off and you're good about not overspending, pay it off every day, you're not going to accrue any interest, but you still get the credit for all the spending that you've done on the card, and you get that 1% cash back. So if you used your debit card with British Airways, it's time to go and change your debit card now. Change the number on it right now. If you use a credit card, not nearly as pertinent that you go out there and change your credit card number. But for sure, if you use your debit card with British Airways, go get a new debit card now before something happens. Never know when somebody's going to actually start. Be very cautious with that. It's raining like crazy today in Texas. Thunder and there's lightning. Raindrops hitting my windshield. Sorry if you can hear some of that background noise, thunder and whatnot. I'm going to try to filter out as much of it as I can before I post the podcast, but in case some of it is still audible, I want to upfront apologize for that. But because of the weather and the rain and all the background noise, I am going to cut the podcast a little short today, and we'll come back on Monday. Hopefully we'll have some interesting topics, newsworthy items to discuss on Monday. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at eEnglish34 on Twitter, at eEnglish34. So check me out there if you want to follow me. If you have any show ideas of topics you want me to talk about, certainly send them my way. Tweet at me at eEnglish34 on Twitter. Alright, y'all. Thanks for listening, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. Talk on Monday.